Hi everyone, I'm Tiffany. I'm hopping on here to do another book review with Gunner. He wanted to make an appearance today. Side note, I'm also repping my bestie Foxy Nix. So if you're on Twitch, you like to watch gamers, she does a lot of cozy games. She's fantastic. And then she also has some merch. Super cute fox, so check her out. But anyways, I wanted to do a review on the two books that I read. One of them is an ARC read. So they're both by Cyndi Brec. So we've got the first one is Secrets Beneath Scars, and the second one is Legends Never Die. So both of them are YA fantasy. They're part of a series, the Therans. Sorry, Cyndi, if I mispronounced that. So the first book I gave 4 out of 5 stars. And it really just sets the stage for our FMC Callie, what her life looks like. And she's just a normal teenager doing normal teenager things, but she knows that she is different. She knows that she has these visions. She knows that she has this inhuman strength, but she also knows, I gotta keep this under wraps because nobody else around her is like that. And she eventually finds out through a letter from her mom who had passed that she actually figures out who she is, and it is a Theron, sorry. And so the first book is really Callie sort of coming to terms with the fact that she now knows who or what she is. She has some explanation for where those powers come from. And then she starts to figure out that there are some people in her life who are also Therans, and people who knew, or at least knew that she was different. Maybe didn't necessarily know what she was, but knew that she was different. So I think she kind of struggles with that a little bit. We have our MMC Tristan. He is a very sweet boy. And so we have Callie's first love, very cute. And he is also Theron. So they have a really special bond, and you don't really get to find out more about what that is specifically until the second book. But it is really fun to watch them navigate that, and I think in a way, I don't know if I want to say they fight against it, but I think they're cautious about it, but they definitely become very close. Tristan, of course, is very protective of Callie, so we love that. And really, like I said, the first book is just setting the stage for Callie's life, her starting to learn more about the Therans and just that world in general. And then on the side of that, we have all of these murders happening, and things start to, I'm trying to do this without giving spoilers. So things start to happen to Callie because other Therans, let me back up. With the Therans, this kind of gives me a little bit of maybe some Harry Potter vibes, where you have like muggles and you have the magical world. And so with Therans, you've got humans and Therans. And there is a strong section of Therans that believe that humans are worthless and that Therans and humans cannot intermingle and intermarry. You have to keep the blood pure, all of that. So similar to, Harry Potter, where there are some wizards who we have to stay pure-blooded. And there are a lot of Therans that strongly believe that, because they've seen, as Therans and humans have married and had kids, their power, some of the humans start to inherit their power, and it's just not as strong as what it used to be way back in the olden days. So fast forward to where we're at now. Nobody knows that Callie is Theron other than the people that are really close to her and Tristan. So outside Therans see Tristan, who is also the son of one of the elders. So there's this expectation that the son or the kids of the elders, like, you have to keep pure blood and blah, 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 because you're essentially like royalty. People are seeing, outside Therans are seeing that elder son was supposedly a human. And so a lot of things start happening to try to break the two apart. And it's a lot of dramatic things that happen. Like, you would think and just go like, okay, you can't be together. And you have like the teenage angst of like Romeo and Juliet sort of thing, right? But no, like very dramatic things happen. Like there's kidnapping, there's attempted murder, like a lot of things happen to keep these two apart and to keep the bloodline pure. I'm not gonna say who is behind all of these bad things happening, because this person also, because I think it would be a spoiler. I'm pretty sure it's a spoiler. So I'm not going to say who it is. But this person also, while trying to keep that from being a thing, is looking for the lost library of the Therans. And with that, you know, you have all of the knowledge that comes from that library, but there's also supposed to be like a big treasure there too. So this guy, of course, is wanting power, he's wanting wealth, he's already a wealthy guy, so it's more for him power, but the people helping him, they very much want that wealth. And so the first book ends with a kidnapping of somebody. I might have said too much there. And out of that situation. So that's the first book. Second book, which is Legends Never Die. That one I gave 5 out of 5 stars. I mean, I love the first one. I absolutely love the second one, because now we have Callie, who is dealing with the trauma of all of the bad things that have happened to her and to loved ones and just Therans in general from this psycho guy. Why? And meanwhile, keep in mind, she's a teenager. Like, she's dealing with a lot of heavy things while also just trying to manage being a teenager and going to parties with her friends and just normal teenage things. And so what I really love in this is Cyndi, the author. She did such a great job of kind of taking a minute and talking about Callie really struggling with those heavy feelings and having days where she didn't get out of bed and having days where she felt like the weight of the world was just on her shoulders. And I don't know, I think that's really important to not just gloss over the fact that you dealt with a lot of trauma. You have to process that while also, because this guy who's doing all these horrible things is still loose. Like, he's still doing all the bad things that I can't say because it'll be a spoiler. But having the weight on your shoulders of feeling like I have to stop him. And there's other things that she's feeling as well, but I don't want to say because those will be spoilers. So she's trying to process all of this while also still trying to get a grasp on the fact that she is a Theran. She is also a type of Theran that is not very common. So there's not a ton of information on what exactly are her powers, how does she use them, all of that. So she's just trying to figure things out on her own, essentially. She's also a seer, so being able to figure out her visions too is really hard. And so she's just got so much on her plate for a teenager that I think Cyndi did a great job of really just kind of basking in that for a minute, and then just being able to go like, yeah, even though she's a Theran, even though she has magical abilities, she's still a person who's really struggling with all of this heavy stuff. And so in the second book, Callie is figuring out her powers. You see those develop. You see new things come up with her and Tristan and their bond. Their relationship gets a little rocky at one point because Callie does have a very hard time trusting. And it makes sense when you know the little details about her life that it is hard for her to trust somebody fully. And then there's, hey, we're going to Italy to try and find this ancient artifact. And then we're going to go to Egypt to try and find the other, like, very much gives me like National Treasure vibes. Like we are going to these old places, doing these puzzles that they're finding, and she's using her visions to be able to figure out, oh, we have to put like these tablets in certain orders to be able to open hidden doors, and it's very cool. And there's like booby traps and everything else. So it was very, like, throughout the whole second book I was very engaged. Like I wanted to know, where are we going next, what puzzle are we solving next, what are we going to find there, and all of that. So the second book ends on a cliffhanger, I will say that. And there is a third book coming. I would be very upset if there was not, because the way that the second book ends, you think that somebody has died. I'm not going to tell you who, because again, I'm trying to do this without spoilers, but a big person in the story you think is dead. But with the epilogue, I don't think that person is, because Callie has a vision, and I think I know who the person is in her vision, and I think it's the person that I think is thought was dead, but might not be now. So I have questions. And there's another person, Callie's great aunt. She comes into the picture. She's also a seer. I have questions about her too. There's a spot where she does something a little bit suspicious, but there is closure with the bad guy. I think that we can check that off, but I still feel like there's more to Callie's story. Like she still doesn't have a full handle on her powers, and I don't think she's tapped into the full extent of her powers. And I think more things are going to come up. I think even though this one bad guy I think is taken care of, I'm sure there's going to be more. And because there's always somebody who wants more power, wants more wealth, wants more this, and this. So I'm very excited to see where Callie's story goes from here. And again, I need to know if the person who I thought died in the second book, if that person is actually alive or not. So if you guys like fantasy, got some adventure in there, I would definitely recommend checking out both of these books by Cyndi Brec. And I do believe if you're in the area for the Ohio Book Con, the big Ohio Book Con in Medina, I believe Cyndi will be there. So you can also swing by her table, chat with her, check the books out. But I definitely recommend that. They were fantastic. So again, keep an eye out for other reviews that we do on here. Feel free to subscribe below on our channel, and I do believe there's a little bell, so if you want notifications when we post new stuff, feel free to hit that as well. And then in June we will be doing an interview with Cyndi Brec, so keep an eye out for that as well, because we'll be chatting about these two books, also upcoming books, and all of that good stuff. All right, thank you guys. Bye.